Some places make you feel small in the best possible way, where the road vanishes into the wild and Mother Nature plays by a different set of rules. This land is raw, relentless, and unforgettable.
Look at this place. We're next to a 15-mile-long glacier.
Over the course of a month, my friend Sean and I traveled deep into the heart of the last frontier. From glacier camps to flooded trails, through mountain passes and forgotten places, this trip pushed us further than any we have done before.
Give it a try. I'll go first. And yeah, it's an adventure.
There were some wild moments on this trip, many tough miles, and more than a few surprises we never saw coming. Alaska doesn't hand out memories. You've got to earn them.
There's ice underneath, but I had to kind of plow through it. This is pretty epic right here.
This is our Bucket Trip 3, Alaska, presented by Onyx Off-Road. Before we could see it all, we had to go north, way north. In episode 1, we're taking on the Dalton Highway, over 400 miles of Arctic isolation, where we were witness to a wildlife migration only a few have ever seen. This leg of the trip will be challenging and unforgettable. Let the Alaska adventure begin. Welcome to Bucket Trip 3. I'm here with my good friend Sean from the Story Till Now, and we are just outside the Yukon border on this gorgeous lake. We camped here last year, just a few miles up the beach, and that was the beginning of our Arctic adventure, where we went all the way up to the Arctic Ocean. We never went to Alaska. It was all through British Columbia, the Yukon, Northwest Territories to get to Tuktoyaktuk in the Arctic Ocean. Ever since that trip, we've been talking about coming back and crossing into Alaska, and that is what this trip is. We are going to be going deep into the heart of Alaska, exploring some trails, seeing some beautiful scenery, hopefully some wildlife, and just making some incredible memories, because these bucket trips have been so amazing, and especially spending it with Sean. Now, today, we're going to be heading into Whitehorse. We got a long drive on the Alaska Highway, and we're not really sure if we're going to cross into Alaska today or tomorrow. That will really just kind of depend on our time distance. But if all goes well, we do have something very special we're going to pick up. So we're going to soak this in for a little bit more, pack up, and we're going to get out of here. This is one of those camping spots you could spend several days at, and after visiting here last year, we didn't think we'd find ourselves back here quite so soon, but our time and distance just worked out perfectly to bring us back to this beach again. While we could easily spend more time here, there is so much adventure awaiting us. Before we pack up, there's two things we need to take care of first. When we got here last night, we built a little fire ring and had a fire because it was pretty chilly, and we just wanted to relax and enjoy this view with a little bit of warmth. But we're going to practice leave no trace principles and break up this fire ring we created. Are you ready, man? Bucket Trip 3?
Almost.
We've been talking about this for a year, dude, but I think there's one thing we got to bring back.
We need one more thing.
Let's do it.
Yeah. You ready, partner?
I'm ready, partner.
Let's roll.
Let's roll. Yes, I know. We are no cowboys, but we had such a memorable experience getting these hats in Tombstone, Arizona on Bucket Trip 2 that we felt we just need to have them with us on this journey. And I've really come to appreciate the practicality of my Stetson. Okay, we're off, guys. Here we go. We've got a long haul ahead of us today, about 8 hours on the road. And while we've been pushing hard to reach Alaska, the plan from here on out is to slow things down, soak it all in, and really connect with the places we explore. Now, we thought this stretch would just be a routine highway run, but Alaska doesn't really do routine. What started as a simple travel day turned into something we'll never forget. It began with a rare encounter, one bear in 2000. A blonde grizzly crossing right in front of me like it owned the road. And honestly, it kind of does. Seeing a grizzly in the wild is one thing. Seeing a blonde grizzly, that's something else entirely. These bears are rare. They say only 1 in every 2,000 are blonde. And he wasn't in a hurry. He didn't care we were there. Just moved and sat down with that slow, powerful confidence that reminds you, out here, we're the guests. That encounter reminded me that up here, the unexpected is always just around the corner. Now, with the adrenaline just wearing off, I settled back into a rhythm of driving and started to think about what makes the Alaskan Highway so unique. Well, it's about mid-afternoon, and we've just been cruising on the Alaska Highway. We've hit a bit of weather here and there. Hopefully, when we get to wherever we're going to end up camping tonight, it's not pouring down rain, but I guess that's just part of the adventure. And it's kind of cool to be on the Alaskan Highway. This is a lot of history here. This road was built in 1942 during World War II as a supply route, and it's over 1,300 miles long, and they built it in only 8 months. Can you imagine today building a road in the United States that was 1,300 miles long in only 8 months? We used to do things so much better. Oh my gosh. Buffalo. Buffalo crossing the road. Yeah, you've got to be attentive on this road. You never know what might jump out in front of you, and that was a prime example right there. Okay, we're going to put in a couple more hours of driving, and then we'll see how the rest of the day goes. Thankfully, my Jeep is not wearing any buffalo as hood ornaments. Now, we did spot the rest of the herd just down the road, massive, silent, and totally unfazed by us. There's something prehistoric about them, like they've been watching travelers pass for centuries. I love bison. After our close encounter with the bison, we cruised into Whitehorse for a quick bite. We didn't stick around long, just enough time to grab some food and to not find that special thing we were hunting for. Spoiler alert, the crossbows would have to wait. All right, well, we had a great meal and went to the sporting goods store to find that one thing I mentioned we were looking hard for, and we didn't find it, but you found something really good.
Yeah, I got some flies for my fly rod from a guy who kind of knows what he's doing, which I don't, so.
Yeah, so you're catching dinner tonight.
I'll try.
Now, back on the road, and for the real reason we're out here, adventure. We'd been driving through waves of heavy rain all day, and as the hours ticked by, thoughts turned to finding a place to camp. We spotted a potential spot just a mile off the road, tucked back on a trail near a lake. And let's be honest, it doesn't take much arm twisting to get us off the pavement, so we dropped into the dirt to see what we could find. All right, Sean and I have been saying, wow, 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 for the last hour and a half as we've been driving through this spectacular mountain range and across this lake. And we saw a couple of camp spots that I had marked on Onyx Off-Road on the way here, but I didn't really think much about them. And we passed a couple of them. We're like, yeah, no, those are not really for us. And then there was one, we came down and it took about a mile to get down here to this beautiful little lake inlet. And you can see background here, some gorgeous jagged snow-capped mountains. Now, this is a lot earlier than we wanted to stop today because we're a few hours still from the border. So we're going to take a look at all the future campsites and how much further we got to go. We're going to make the call here on whether we're going to stay or whether we're going to continue on. And it's not an easy call because this is a really nice spot. That spot was solid, and after a quick assessment, Sean and I made the call to keep moving. We figured we'd bookmark it for the trip back. What we didn't know then was our plans would shift and we'd end up taking an entirely different route home. But that part of the story comes later. For now, it's time to put in the miles. Alaska is within our reach. So I've heard a lot about how rough the Alaskan Highway can be and the potholes and the dips and the whoops, and well, it's been pretty rough. And definitely feeling it. Sean and I are both commenting like, oh yeah, here we go. In fact, yep, there's another section right here. Like he just kind of, every once in a while teases you to get a little smooth section, and then you get a section like this and you're just like rolling all over the place. I imagine this road's hard to maintain with the hard winters. You need to be prepared for this if you come out here. It is not a nice smooth freeway. All right, well, after a good long day of driving and beautiful scenery and lots of cool wildlife and checking out many campsites along the way, we've actually ended up at a campground, and we are on the White River. It's a nice campground. There's only a few people here. I would imagine in a couple weeks this place will be packed, but Sean and I have a nice flat spot here. Got views of the mountains off in the distance, and there's a river that doesn't look very fishy, but we'll probably still give it a try. So this is home for the night. Tomorrow, the goal, Sean, I think we can make it to Alaska tomorrow.
Tomorrow, Alaska.
Tomorrow's Alaska, guys.
Well, we didn't have any luck catching anything in this river, but that's okay. We'll have plenty more opportunities over the coming weeks. And after an excellent night's rest and a short drive in the morning, we finally reached our objective.
Well, good morning, guys. We had a very quiet night at camp last night. And this morning we got up, very chilly this morning, about 32 degrees. And we just drove for about an hour and a half on the Alaskan Highway, which I think is not the best maintained, rugged, not the best maintained road we've ever been on in our entire lives. But this is officially, for me, day 7. I've drove 3,300 miles, 63 hours of drive time. Finally, guys, made it to Alaska. Now things are going to get really interesting. Guys, we're in Alaska. I am so excited. And the road has smoothed way out on this side of the border, which is very nice. Now, we've been on the road for a couple hours. We're working our way towards a small town, I think it's pronounced Talk. Gonna get some fuel, get some supplies, and then keep heading west and hopefully start a small section of the Dalton Highway, which is, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But you know, being here in Alaska has been a long time dream now that I'm here driving my truck. I've visited Alaska a couple times, but never in my vehicle. And so this is super exciting. And some interesting fun fact about Alaska. It is 663,000 square miles. You could fit Texas, California, and Montana all inside of Alaska. That's how big this place is. All right, it's just a little after 5 p.m. and we just left Fairbanks. Very nice town. Got everything you need there. All the major stores and Sportsman Warehouse, which had exactly what we were looking for, which I'll show you either tonight at camp or in the morning. But now we're heading north with the objective of driving to the northernmost point you can drive in North America, Prudhoe Bay. How long is it going to take us to get there? I don't know. Do I have enough fuel? I sure hope so. Is this going to be an adventure? Absolutely. Well, after a little over an hour's drive from Fairbanks, we've made it to one of the most dangerous roads in North America. Hopefully not too dangerous. The Dalton Highway, guys. We're here. We're getting ready to head all the way to the Arctic Circle, to Prudhoe Bay, to the furthest point you can drive in North America. This road was built in 1974 just to support the construction of the Alaska pipeline. It wasn't open to the public. They just used this to move heavy equipment in harsh conditions to support the oil field and the creation of the pipeline. It wasn't until like 7 years later when they opened it to the public. And now guys like us can come out here,
These guys,
and enjoy it. We're excited to get started. It's late in the day, so I don't know how far we're gonna go today, but dude, you ready?
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Finally, we're on the Dalton Highway. 414 miles of gravel, ice, and attitude. Built in just 5 months to support the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, it's one of the most remote and rugged roads in North America. There are only 3 towns along the entire stretch. For most of it, there's no cell service, no gas, and no second chances. Truckers call it the Haul Road. We are going to call it one of the wildest drives on the continent.
Guys, I'm on the Dalton Highway. I am so full of joy right now. Now, we are kind of in the trees, but I can see some mountains off in the distance. I know this is going to be epic. I remember the first time somebody mentioned to me about the Dalton Highway. I had no idea what it was, and he was just telling me how much joy he had coming out here and exploring it. And then after that, I've just been hooked, and I couldn't wait for the day to come out here. Now, we did the Dempster last year, and I'm kind of curious to see how the Dempster compares to the Dalton. I think they're both epic, but I'm hoping this is even as good, if not better, than the Dempster. But gotta go find camp, because it's already like 7:30, so we need to figure that out. And it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's like 5 o'clock, because the sun is probably not gonna set tonight. All right, guys, we have come to what we thought was the first campsite option of the night. I had a bunch marked on Onyx Off-Road, and we're coming down this road and we're getting really close. It says Lakeside Campsite. Well, the road kind of ends. Let me show you what's going on. The road has been completely washed out. It is flooded way all the way through these trees, down the road. Well, Sean, you've been leading today, and you led us to a dead end.
Did you bring your rubber boots or what?
I actually did not. Yeah.
I don't think my rubber boots are deep enough. Look how fast it's moving over in the middle there. That's ripping.
Yeah, I think even trying to cross this would be a bad idea.
Yep.
So, all right, well, on to the next one.
On to the next one.
All right, it was kind of a bummer about that first campsite. I was really looking forward to, one, getting a camp and having a nice meal, and two, camping next to a lake and maybe throwing a line in the water and doing a little fishing. However, it's just what happens on an adventure sometimes, and so we're gonna push hard here, and we should be to the next one here in about 20 minutes. Now, the trucks are fast and furious, guys. You really have to be careful. But the good news is that so far, the Dalton's been pretty smooth. It hasn't been a lot of potholes, hasn't been a lot of whoops. It's either dusty or muddy though. Right now we are in the thick of the mud, and so I'm keeping back from Sean quite a ways just because all that spray is getting all over the windshield. I haven't looked outside the vehicle, but I'm probably going to be very thankful to have some mud flaps. And we're just now getting close and starting to see our first sights of the Alaska Pipeline, which hopefully tomorrow we can talk a little bit more about. But right now, we got to get near the Yukon River and look for camp. The mighty Yukon Bridge, and it's made of timber. Some pretty tore up timber, I might add. But fun fact, this bridge was originally built just for the Trans-America Pipeline and support vehicles. This bridge was not open to the public until 1994. All right, it is a little before 10 o'clock p.m. and that first campsite was flooded. So we are now at what's called 5 Mile Campground. This is better than average. There are mosquitoes everywhere. Now, we went to the grocery store. We got all kinds of food, all kinds of great meals we're gonna cook. But I think tonight we're going to hunker down from these mosquitoes and just have something simple. Whew, it's bad. I need to get out of these things. All right, guys, by executive decision, Sean decided that he wanted to cook us some steaks, and I can't turn down a steak. Sean, we were going to show folks what we bought, that we've been looking for the last few days. You want to show them?
Yes.
What did we get?
Crossbows.
Crossbows.
Yeah. I mean, you can never be too safe
Right.
on the Dalton Highway.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
I have no idea how this works, but we're going to find out.
Yep. We both got crossbows. We'll be reading up on it tonight, and we'll be having a little fun. It's just something we've ever always wanted to do, and well, why not?
Why not?
Steak dinner? Candlelight? Dude, I feel like I'm on a Dalton date.
Wait, did you get the finishing salt on there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's a good steak,
Good enough?
especially considering it's 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
Well, it's morning 1 on the Dalton Highway, and got here last night. Those mosquitoes were crazy. There's none to be found this morning, and I didn't even realize it, but we actually camped right next to a little creek down there. You can hear it running. I got my hot cup of caffeine, and life is good this morning. Sean and I are taking it easy. We were up late last night, way past my bedtime. But this morning we're just enjoying the morning, and then we're gonna continue to head north. Hopefully this morning we make it past the Arctic Circle, and I don't think we'll make it to Prudhoe Bay, but who knows? Who knows where the road will take us. Now, last night Sean introduced you to his crossbow, and I want to talk a little bit about that because that's something that we've been talking about for several days now. So Sean and I, being teenagers at heart, decided that we were going to get crossbows. And so we went to a couple shops along the way to find crossbows, and we finally found some at the last stop in Fairbanks, and they only had 2 crossbows. And these are both Killer Instinct. Mine is the 405, his is the 430. He's got kind of the higher end model, and those were the only 2 they had, and we both wanted the 430. So we did rock, paper, scissors. Sean won, he got the 430, I got this one. So hopefully we get to camp somewhere tonight, maybe by a stream or a lake or a river, and we can do some fishing, and we can break out the crossbows and learn how to use that. That'll be a lot of fun. So I'm going to definitely caffeinate a little bit more, and then we're gonna hit the trail. All right, we're on the move, and you know, we're cruising right along, 45, 50 miles an hour, and I've actually been getting pretty good fuel economy. We're at about 16.5 miles per gallon. Fuel on this route is pretty important to pay attention to because there's some long hauls where there's no fuel, so we're gonna aim for Coldfoot, which has the last fuel stop before Prudhoe Bay, and I think from Coldfoot to Prudhoe Bay is just over 245 miles, but we have to go through the Brooks Range. So I don't know what my fuel economy is going to be there. So I did bring a little bit of extra fuel just in case, but I think that the extra fuel is going to come into play a little bit more when we head south towards Denali. We've got some places we're going to be exploring. I think if this pace keeps up, fuel here is going to be no problem. But Arctic Circle, Coldfoot, those are our next destinations. All right, we just crested this hill, and the trees have thinned out, and you can see for miles up here, the rolling, rugged landscape, the snow out there. Now it's starting to feel like we're in the Arctic, and we're not too far from the official start of the Arctic Circle. So we'll pause when we get there in a minute, but yeah, this is what I was looking forward to. All day long, I've just been in awe about the Alaskan pipeline. What an engineering marvel. This thing is 800 miles long. It's just crazy that they built this up here in this remote area with these harsh weather conditions. Incredible. And what I love is they've really kind of taken a little bit of consideration for the wildlife out here. So there's areas where there's animal corridors where it's buried underground, or they've created these really big bridges to make it easy for animals to go under. But most of the time it looks just like this, and it's elevated off the ground because there's heat in there and they want to keep it from melting the permafrost underneath. But yeah, I love stuff like this. This is super cool. Well, after a very long drive yesterday and a moderate drive today, Sean and I have reached the Arctic Circle for the second time within a year. It was this time last year, give or take a week, where we reached the Arctic Circle in Canada. And now we've reached the Arctic Circle in Alaska. It's a pretty cool accomplishment. I've always been excited to hear stories about people coming up here and doing this, and now that I've done it twice with my good friend Sean, it's pretty awesome, dude.
Arctic Circle.
There's mosquitoes.
They're so big.
We're on a paved section of the Dalton, and seems like there's paved section and then there's mud, and then there's paved section and then there's gravel. It's just this mix. And honestly, I think Sean and I both agree that the paved sections are worse than the dirt sections because there's all these potholes and you really gotta dodge them a little bit. I would hate to be in a car with small tires because some of these potholes, they'll get up and bite you pretty good. Yeah, we're cruising right along, doing 53 miles an hour, and we are probably 20 miles away from Coldfoot, and I've got about 85 miles of range. So the fuel stop will be just right. All right, we made it to Coldfoot, Alaska. Nice little milestone here. Getting fuel, $7.49 a gallon, but I knew that coming in. I knew that was not gonna be cheap, but I only had about 60 miles of range left, but I haven't tapped into my cans, but we still have 242 miles to go. So getting fuel here is an absolute must. Now, there is a little cafe in town, there's a post office, and there's a visitor center, and not much else. So I don't think we're gonna stick around town too long. We really want to work our way north and continue enjoying this Arctic beauty. We just came across the road from Coldfoot, and the lady at the gas station She sold me a peanut butter cookie, which was pretty good, but she said, are you guys going to the visitor center? I was like, yeah, we're gonna go check it out. She's like, they got the best bathrooms over there. She was over the top about how nice the bathrooms are. However, this is a really cool facility. They've got lots of great information in there. Talking to the BLM officers, super nice. And yes, the bathrooms are pretty good, but a lot of good information here. And crazy that they built this beautiful facility way up here in the middle of nowhere. All right, now that we've fueled up, had a good time, we gotta keep heading north. All right, now we're talking. This is what I thought camping in Alaska was gonna be like, and this is beautiful. That mountain, the river, yes. Now, we had to do a little hunting and searching because we saw that there was some stuff over here, and there was a campsite on the other side of the river, but it was just not nice, and it didn't really have a view. This is wide open, right on the river, gorgeous mountain right there. Now, we brought our fishing poles this trip, but this looks pretty silty, so I don't think we're gonna fish here today, but we've got other toys to play with while we're here at camp, and I've got dinner duty. All right, camp's all set up, and now it's time to have a little fun. Now, I've never shot a crossbow in my entire life, but I'm pretty handy with a rifle. But I watched the videos, I read all the instructions, so that pretty much makes me dangerous. We've set up a target over there on the bank. It's really kind of a makeshift. It's all we've got, and we're gonna see how this goes. I'm excited to give this a try. This was pre-assembled at the store. I know that scope is not sighted in, but gonna see how this goes. All right, she's on safe. Taking her off. Sean, you ready?
Nope.
She's on fire.
We're getting set up.
Here we go. Hey, that's in the red.
Nice.
I'll take it. Well, that's not bad for my first 3 arrows I shot through a crossbow. I'm a little low and to the right, so there needs to be some adjusting. About 20, 25 yards out. That's kind of fun. All right, well, the crossbow was a success, and learning how to use them, Sean and I figured that out pretty easily. Our target and backdrop was a total failure. All 3 of these tips and 2 of Sean's are broken. But at least we know the crossbows work, and we do have more arrows, but we're gonna have to find a different target. Well, we've had a lot of fun with crossbows. It's debatable who won, but I volunteered to make dinner anyway, because there's something that Sean reminded me that we had in Arizona that, dude, it's pretty amazing.
It was pretty good. It was after that long day of driving.
On a sketchy road at night, we had
bison nachos.
Bison nachos. And so we're gonna try to do that again, but this time with elk. Now, last time I cooked them, I used my wife's Omnia, which is like a stovetop oven. I don't have that this time, so hopefully this in the pan pot thing works out. But
honestly, meat, cheese, and nachos.
Right.
It's hard to mess up.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned the last time I made these, it was with a stovetop oven. Let's just say that doing it in a regular pot didn't yield the same results. The chips were a little soggy, unfortunately. Sorry, Sean.
Well, definitely not the best nachos I've ever had. But the closer we got to the bottom, the crunchier they got. And it's almost gone. It'll be gone in about
A minute.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
We didn't let a few soggy nachos spoil our evening. This was an incredible campsite, and we're both filled with excitement about what tomorrow will bring. Prudhoe Bay is now within our reach.
What a beautiful morning in the Arctic. It's a little chilly, but not bad. I imagine it's going to get a lot colder as we continue north. I think it's still below freezing up in Prudhoe Bay. I was reading up last night that there are only 5 places in the world where you can drive up to the Arctic Circle. We've done 2 of them. The other 3 are Sweden, Finland, and Russia. And there's also a small island on the top of Iceland where you could drive Iceland and then you could take a ferry up to the island. I think it's called Grimsey or Grimmy, something like that. I mean, I'd never really thought that that would be like a cool accomplishment, but I don't know. Now I'm just thinking more and more about it. Like, how cool would it be to go to all the possible land masses that you can get to reach the Arctic Circle? It'd be kind of cool. I don't know. It's just, drinking my coffee this morning and just thinking and enjoying things. And I was like, oh, that would be a kind of cool thing to do over my lifetime. I'm still young. Got lots of life left in me, lots of adventure left in me. So who knows? Who knows where that'll go? All right, this morning we're going to pack up here in a bit and start heading north. Oh yeah. Good morning, my friend. We didn't get flooded out by the river last night.
This is a win.
It's a win. But there are some pretty large bear tracks not too far from camp. So something to be mindful of.
Yeah, I mean, we probably just want to be pet.
Yeah, I'm sure. You ready to drive the farthest north that you ever driven in your life?
I sure am.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It got cold, guys. We've been climbing an elevation and it got chilly. Now, when I was planning this route on Onyx Off-Road, I was mapping all kinds of points of interest. And one of them is the last spruce tree on the Dalton Highway. And that's it right there behind us. Going forward, there's no more pine trees, no more spruce trees. Now, the official most northern spruce tree in Alaska is somewhere over there. You can hike to many, many miles, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna head up this beautiful mountain pass right now. Yeah.
This is the Brooks Range, one of the most remote and rugged mountain ranges in North America, stretching over 700 miles across northern Alaska. Crossing it means you're leaving behind what most would call still the wild and entering something even more untamed. I have been really looking forward to this section of the Dalton Highway. And off in the distance, we spotted the first few caribou, early signs of a massive migration that was waiting just beyond the pass.
All right, we're making our way to the top of the Adigan Pass. This is the top of the Brooks Range where the Continental Divide is, and it is very steep. The Jeep is working really hard right now. The temperature has dropped a lot. We're just about freezing right now. Beautiful, beautiful scenery, and we saw that herd of caribou right before we started. Yeah, they just got really exciting. I'm loving this. All right, we crested the summit and it is so windy and so cold out. Now we're down on the backside and it is steep. I'm got it in second gear and trying not to ride my brakes. I can't imagine doing this in the winter when the trucks are coming through here and this is all snowed and iced over. It'll be a little sketchy. Dalton is listed as one of the most dangerous roads in America, and in the beginning wasn't too dangerous, but there's been some areas now where it's been pretty slippery from where they're keeping water on the road to keep the dust down, and it can get a little crazy. We've seen a couple cars on the side of the road that have been all crashed and totaled that just left there, but now we have come over, we're past the mountains and we're out and you can just see tundra for miles. Well, at the moment, you can't see anything. Visibility is terrible. And so now we've got to slow way down and now we have to really pay attention to stay on the right side of the road because there's not a lot of room here. And if we get a truck coming in the other direction, boy, that could be disastrous. So we're taking it slow, which is gonna slow down our arrival time, but that's okay. Better to be safe. About 2 hours ago, I was excited because we saw like 20 caribou, and now we've seen hundreds. In fact, I'm looking out my window right now, and I'll bet there's 40 or 50 out there. There's just herds of them everywhere. They're herding in lines. I mean, they are just everywhere you look. And the amount of geese, it's so many. Now, again, another herd of caribou. My gosh, guys, this is incredible. I haven't seen a muskox, and that's the one animal that I'm really excited to see. We haven't seen any of those, but I'll tell you what, today's been a good day. The Brooks Range, all this wildlife, yeah, it's a good day.
At the time, we had no idea just how special this moment was. We were witnessing a part of the porcupine caribou herd, thousands of animals on their annual migration north. It only happens a couple weeks each year, and somehow we were right in the middle of it. They travel over 1,500 miles from Canada's Yukon to the calving grounds of the Alaskan North Slope, one of the longest land migrations on Earth, and we just happen to be in their path.
Now, I knew that the last little section of the Dalton was paved, and I think it was around 15 miles of it was what I read. Well, we hit pavement at about 58 miles out, and we've been on pavement ever since. So I wonder if they're just slowly making this road bigger and bigger. Now, I've got my sunglasses on because the sky is white and the land all around the road is white, and it's starting to kind of irritate my eyes a little bit, and it's a little mundane. I mean, for almost an hour it's been like this, and you really got to focus on the road now. Everything's just white. There's nothing really to see. It's a huge contrast to all the scenery and wildlife we saw way back there. This last little stretch is probably not my favorite part, but the good news is we're only about 10 miles from Dead Horse.
After days of pushing north, we finally made it to the end of the road. Now, technically, this is Dead Horse, not Prudhoe Bay, although the names are often used interchangeably. Prudhoe Bay is the massive oil field just beyond here, and access to the Arctic Ocean is restricted unless you're part of a tour or working up here. Dead Horse itself is no-frills industrial camp, built to support the oil operation. It's not scenic and it's not meant to be, but getting here, it means you've traveled one of the most remote highways in North America, and we've made it to the top of the world.
Well, after several days and a whole lot of driving, we made it to the town of Dead Horse. And well, it's not really a town in your traditional sense. It's more of an industrial camp, and we're not really gonna hang out here. So it's not really so much about the destination, although now we have, Sean, driven to the most northern point in North America.
Yes, we have.
We're going to see if we can get something to eat. We're gonna get some fuel and check out the town for a little bit. And then we gotta do it all over again. We gotta head all the way back.
Boo.
This is definitely the coldest it's been this entire trip. It's snowing right now. I think it's like 27 degrees. Yeah, it's chilly. Now, the Dalton Highway, pretty amazing. On the way up and back on this last half, we saw so much wildlife, caribou specifically, and it was pretty incredible. Now, we gotta finish making our way off the Dalton. We gotta go through the mountains. We got a few hundred miles to go. And then we've got a very special event planned. And then we're gonna head to Denali. And I've got some trails mapped out that I've mapped out on Onyx Off-Road. And we're gonna go get after it and really get deep in the backcountry. All right, I gotta get warm to start the Jeep. We gotta get over this mountain. Well, I'm not sure if I'm overdressed or underdressed. Is this a Canadian thing with the robe? What's going on, man?
No, man, this is a comfort thing.
Good morning, dude. How are you?
Good morning. I am excellent.
Yeah.
Woke up to some nice scenery this morning.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like we're in the Arctic now, right?
Yeah. It's got to be like still probably -5 Celsius or so,
Yeah,
whatever
dude.
that is in Fahrenheit, American Eagles.
It's cold is what it is. It's really, really cold.
Yep.
So, yeah. How you feeling about passing over this big mountain this morning?
Yeah, I wish it was a little less foggy, but it should be cool.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot in store for the next couple of days. I'm excited.
Me too.
It's wild to think that just a week ago, I was back home in shorts and flip-flops. I'm definitely not acclimated to this kind of cold yet, but that's part of the point. Getting outside your comfort zone is where the good stuff happens. If I only camped when the weather was perfect, I'd miss out on so many places like this. Luckily, both Sean and I have four-wheel campers on the back of our trucks, which makes riding out Mother Nature's mood swings a little more manageable. All right, time to get over the Brooks Range and finish off the Dalton Highway.
All right, we're making our way up to Adigan Pass. And yesterday when we came through here, it was beautiful, it was clear, you could see for miles. It's complete opposite. This morning it's very foggy. There's a little ice on the ground. There's trucks coming. And it just feels a little more sketchy. But a couple more miles, we should be up and over this. And I don't know, fingers crossed it'll clear up on the other side of the pass. All right, we've cleared the pass and come down in elevation, and it is warmed up to 44 degrees. If you want to call that warm, I will take it. Now, we've got about an hour to get to Coldfoot, where we will fuel up and then make our way to the end of the Dalton Highway towards Fairbanks, where we'll start looking for camp tonight and really looking forward to what we've got in store in the next day. Now, I have a crack that I got in my windshield on the way up to see Sean, and now it is just run right across my windshield, so that's great.
With the miles and hours ticking away, it feels like our time on the Dalton Highway flew by. But I know this is one of those memories Sean and I will carry with us for the rest of our lives. It's been an incredible experience. The wildlife, the engineering marvel of the Alaska pipeline, and driving through the stunning Brooks Range. Those are the moments that are going to stick with us.
Well, 4 days, 3 nights, 828 miles, epic scenery. Sean and I have completed the Dalton Highway. Now, the vehicles held up extremely well. Not a single flat tire, but on the way here today, we both took some pretty heavy hits to the windows, and I think we'll both be replacing ours before this is said and done. Now, if all goes well tonight, Sean and I will be camping and relaxing on a river. You down with that?
I'm down with that.
That was a good trip, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go have some more fun.
Sure, you got to get your head in the game, though, if you know what I'm saying.
I need my cowboy hat.
After leaving the Dalton, we spent a couple hours on the road and our trucks were getting a much needed free Alaskan shower. We had some intel on a campsite that would set us up for the next leg of our journey.
This looks like 2-track. A little overgrown. Sorry. You want me to go investigate first?
No, let's just do it.
Copy. Oh yeah. This'll do just fine.
All right, guys, after about 10 hours of driving, we've made it to camp. Now, we had a place marked, it's actually on this river, but when we stopped for fuel, there was actually a nice gentleman who follows the channel. His name's Logan. So Logan, thank you. He said, guys, come here. And he was not wrong. This is a good camp spot. This will work. Yeah, buddy?
Yep, I like it.
And you got dinner tonight.
I do.
Hey. All right, everybody, we got camp all set up, and what a great spot. Now, it's not super level, so I actually had to kind of move a little ways apart just to get vehicles level, but that's all right. That gives us this nice little area to hang out. And I already hooked up Starlink and gave Regina a call because I have not talked to her in a couple days. So it's nice to have Starlink. I was able to call and hear her voice and just say hi. Now, if you notice, it's raining and it started to slow down a little bit, but I don't have an awning and Sean doesn't have an awning. And that would sure be nice to have an awning like today. However, it's also nice to not have an awning because you don't have the weight. Now, as far as this river goes, beautiful, but that river is moving fast, guys. And we were hoping to do maybe a little fishing here, but I don't think we're gonna be able to fish that. That's just too much of a current. The other thing is, this is a nice little wooded area here, and there are a lot of mosquitoes. In fact, for some reason, they seem to like Sean more than me, because if you walk over here, you'll see mosquitoes all over his door. But he's in there nice and safe and sound cooking dinner. My friend,
Yes,
what's the dinner plan?
we've got bacon wrapped steak medallions
Oh yeah,
and some pierogies going on after these are done because I only got one pan.
excellent, my friend. Thanks for making dinner.
No problem.
Sean, sir,
Yes.
I have not had a pierogi since the last time I was with you.
Well, you've been missing out this whole time.
I know. What is a pierogi?
It's basically just mashed potato in a dumpling. I think mashed potato mixed with cream cheese.
And you cook them in the pan that you cook the
Yes.
steaks in, so now that has steak and bacon flavor.
Yeah, yeah. All the bacon and steak juice was in the pan and soaked up into the pierogies,
Yeah,
so
dude.
they taste great.
This is super gourmet as far as I'm concerned. It's delicious. We're
Hey.
gonna destroy this plate.
This is like gourmet bachelor food is what it is.
Good morning, guys. What a great spot this has been. Yesterday, we did what was called a 0 day. And for us, that means we don't drive, we don't travel, we just find a spot, we relax, we decompress, because after spending 2 weeks on the road, sometimes you just need a break. We took advantage of that, so yesterday I went through the vehicle and kind of inspected things, just made sure that everything looked good. I took a look at a lot of the bolts that I have that are marked with paint tabs to make sure that everything's in place. Just a good once over. And then, you know, after 2 weeks in here, I just needed to do a little field day, so I pulled some stuff out, kind of reorganized, cleaned up a little bit, and that was nice to do. We spent some time just chilling here by the river, relaxing, which was much needed, and we might have brought out our crossbows and had a little fun as well. So it was a good, much needed 0 day. Today, we're gonna head into Fairbanks. We got a couple supplies we need to get, and then we're going fishing.
That was an excellent campsite, and after a full 24 hours of rest, we're feeling recharged. We made our way into Fairbanks, where the trucks finally got a much-needed bath. There's just something deeply satisfying about pressure washing off a few hundred miles of the Dalton Highway grind.
We've been running around Fairbanks all day long, and got the vehicles washed, got some food, did some chores, got some supplies, and now
we're gonna go fishing, my friend.
Yeah, shark fishing.
Shark fishing. Probably not gonna catch any shark today, but we're gonna try to catch some fish, that's for sure. Right now,
No,
the
that
score...
attitude, we're not, Brad.
Sean is up 1-0, so I gotta catch up.
We booked this guided raft fishing trip months ago because, let's be honest, you can't come to Alaska and not fish. It's not salmon season, unfortunately, but if all goes well, the river should be full of Arctic grayling. They're smaller than a salmon, but still put up a good fight, and that's all we need to have a great day out on the water.
Well, it's beautiful out here, guys. I mean, if we don't catch any fish, which I know we're gonna catch some, it's still worth the trip out here just to see this backcountry on the river. This is gorgeous.
As we floated down the river, from time to time we would stop at a few choice spots. Our guide started sharing some great tips on where to find the fish and even gave us a crash course in fly fishing. I've spent plenty of time with a rod in hand, but I've never cast a fly. Today felt like the perfect time to change that. Now let's just say I'm still a work in progress, but Sean has been fly fishing for a little bit and he's picked it up pretty fast. His casts looked like they were dialed in right away.
All right, we've been fishing this spot for about 5 minutes, and that's what we're going to kind of hop on and offshore along the way. Sean and I haven't caught anything, but the father and daughter that we're here with, the daughter just caught the first grayling, a nice size one, but we're going to keep working it, and I think we're going to fish a bunch more spots down the river. So this is exactly what I wanted to do while I was here in Alaska, guys. This is so peaceful.
Just as I had finished saying that I hadn't caught anything, it happened. A bite, my first. And not on a fly. Also, not a monster, but it didn't matter. I was grinning like I had just caught a record fish.
This is what it's all about, guys. This is what it's all about. Fishing and catching. Yeah.
We would go on to catch many more grayling, although Sean seemed to be having a little bit better luck than I was. It wasn't about the size of the catch or the technique, as I stuck with the spinning rod because it's what I know and it let me enjoy the moment. But being out here, drifting through silence, catching fish with a good friend, it doesn't get much better than this. This is the kind of day that stays with you.
Not over.
That is true. I'm just making up for the last trip to the Arctic where I didn't catch a single fish.
Yeah, well, a huge thanks to our guide because he put us in the right spots.
Yeah.
Now we have about a 20 to 30 minute float down the river and just enjoying every moment of it, guys.
After an incredible evening of catching fish, we began searching for a camp spot nearby. It's almost 10 p.m. and we actually have no idea where we're going to end up tonight.
All right, we've driven probably down 4 or 5 trails now, and we just got some intel from a local. There was one area that was flooded, and so we turned around and the guy said, no, if you keep going, there's actually a really nice spot on the other side and we should make it through the flooded area, no problem. So here goes. Oh yeah, this will do just nicely.
Total banger camp spot.
Total banger. I'm pretty sure we didn't catch his name, but huge thanks to the local that recommended we continue on through that flooded area to come here. This is a pretty nice spot, and it's almost 10 o'clock at night. You wouldn't even know it. So we didn't give up.
We didn't give up, and it's a good thing we didn't.
It's a good thing we didn't.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and you know what this means? It means I get up way before you, and I'm fishing way before you.
You better take pictures of all those fish to prove
You know I'm going to. It's a good spot, dude.
Yeah, it is.
After a full day on the river, landing here, right on the water, peaceful and completely off the beaten path, was exactly what we needed. Sitting here with a cold drink and a good friend after a day like that, sometimes that's the whole reason you take a trip like this.
Well, I didn't catch any fish this morning, but that's okay. I thoroughly enjoyed just spending time out here and listening to these birds and the moving of the river, and yeah, we're in Alaska. We're packing up this morning, and I feel like this is kind of a shift in the adventure because the terrain's gonna change, the type of trails we're gonna be on is gonna change. I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah.
After one of the best campsites of the trip, we packed up and hit the road again. Our next destination, the Denali Highway. From here, the terrain changes. We're venturing deep off the road and onto a series of trails that will lead us into some remote lakes and long abandoned mines. But Alaska has a way of rewriting your plans.
After a few hours of driving, we've made it to the Maclaren River Trailhead, which is an old mining trail. And when I was planning this route through Denali, this was a trail I found on Onyx Off-Road. It's actually a guided route here. And so we're just gonna follow this up as far as we can. And Sean and I are both excited to get on a real trail, a rugged trail, a two-track. The challenge is we can see a lot of snow off into the distance and we don't know how far we're gonna make it. But we're gonna do our best and we're gonna have fun and put these rigs in four-wheel drive and just get after it. It's about time to have some four-wheel drive action. So here we go. All right, we're on the trail and it feels good to be on a little two-track. Now there's already big patches of snow and some puddles, so we'll be interested to see how things get as we go higher in elevation. Now this is an old mining trail and I believe there's an old mining camp or cabin up towards the top. Now I don't know how high we're gonna be able to get. Our plan is to camp here somewhere tonight, so we'll kind of see how that goes, but the adventure's on. I'm feeling excited for today and tomorrow and the next couple days because we're gonna do more of this. All right guys, I'm already struggling. I put it 4 low, lockers are on. I've had to back up and go forward a couple times. Now I'm going up this hill. Okay, it's not so bad. Just keep the momentum going. Oh yeah, let's go, let's go. Come on, Doc. Yeah, you got it, you got it. Nice. Life is all about new experiences, and this is a new experience for me. I've never wheeled in the snow quite like this. This is awesome. Well, that didn't take long. I got a big wall of snow right in front of my Jeep. I backed up, gone forward, backed up, gone forward, lockers are on. I can't get through, so we're gonna throw the Kennecott rope on and Sean will give me a tug and then, I don't know, I guess we'll just try it again or Sean's gotta do it. I'm having fun though. This isn't something I get to do in California very often.
This is exactly why you travel in pairs and why you carry a kinetic rope when there's snow on the ground. I gave it my best shot several times, pushing hard into the snow track, trying to break through, but I just didn't have the clearance to get it done.
Hey guys, that's several attempts already, and you can see snow's pretty deep. That's not quite to my knee, but pretty close. Doc just doesn't have the horsepower, doesn't have the clearance. That snow's thick. So one more tug out. I think maybe time for Sean to try.
So Sean took the lead. With his snow wheeling experience, 40-inch tires, and a bit more horsepower, he managed to push out about another mile further. And honestly, it was hard to focus on the trail because the Denali range around us was absolutely breathtaking. But then it happened. Turns out even 40-inch tires and Canadian confidence have their limits. Sean made attempt after attempt, and we had to get out the kinetic rope a couple times just to get him unstuck. And then it happened. He got himself stuck, and I mean really stuck.
We tried the kinetic rope 3 times to get Sean out, and no joy. Concerned a little bit that his tires aren't spinning. What are you thinking, buddy?
I'm thinking, watch this tire. I'm gonna hit some throttle, and you tell me if anything's spinning.
Sounds good.
There's nothing spinning.
It's moving. You're just not spinning. There you go. There it is. Now you're spinning good. All right, let's try kinetic again.
Yeah.
All right, one more good one. Here we go. Ready?
After several failed hard tugs with the kinetic rope, I broke out the winch, but all that did was drag me forward. Sean was buried, snow packed up and over his axles. At this point, there was only one option left: dig. And dig we did. I'm not sure I've ever worked a shovel this hard getting someone unstuck. The snow was wet, heavy, and by the time we were in a few minutes, everything from my knees down was soaked and freezing. But when you're in the middle of nowhere, there's no calling for help. You figure it out, you get to work, and you get your buddy out of the snow.
We have been shoveling snow from underneath his truck for a good 30, 45 minutes. I don't know how long. I'm cold, I'm wet. But we got him unstuck. Now we got to figure out, what do we want to do? Is it really smart to go forward?
There really wasn't any question on what to do next. It's time to find a place to camp, get out of these wet clothes, and eat some dinner.
Well, you know, it's always a good experience when I'm with this guy out here in places like this.
You brought me here.
Yeah, I did. That's true. Look, it took us a good, I don't know, 30, 40, an hour. I don't know.
That was probably an hour.
That was a good stuck in the snow. Even for you, that was a good stuck.
That was a good stuck.
Yeah, but we dug up underneath the axles. It was packed under there. He aired down, and then we just yanked the heck out of it. And finally, we were able to get moving. So we turned around, came down the trail, maybe about a mile. We had seen this spot before, and it's a good flat area, and we have incredible view. And
Yeah.
I need to change my shoes and my socks and my pants because they're soaked.
Yep.
And this guy said he's gonna make dinner. What's the plan?
Bison tacos.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm gonna cook the meat and the seasoning, and then I'm gonna melt the cheese on top of it like you did when we did the nachos, and then we can take that and put it in the taco so the cheese is all melted. Put a little. I got some sliced jalapenos and some hot sauce. Put that on there.
Oh, I'm good. That sounds great, dude.
Yeah, let's do it.
We may not have made it to the abandoned mine today, but we definitely earned ourselves a story we'll be telling for years. And honestly, there's nothing to complain about. With these incredible mountain views in the distance and a quiet camp spot like this, it's tough to beat.
I think the temperature says it's 39 outside, but I think my feet are like minus 15. These are snow boots that I brought with me, and they're pretty good, pretty warm, but they're just filled with water from going back and forth and back and forth. My pants are soaking wet, so I just need to try these out. Thankfully I got lots of wool socks, brought plenty. I got another pair of shoes, so life is good. Guys, I'm tired. That was exhausting, but it was also kind of exhilarating. It was kind of fun to go through that challenge of getting him out of there. I mean, it was hard. We were struggling. We were getting tired. But you know, when you take a minute and you figure out, okay, what's the solution? You know, we tried traction boards. We tried the winch. We tried the kinetic rope. And then it was just a matter of just digging and digging and digging and then pulling. And it was fun trying to figure out that puzzle on how to get him undone. And thankfully we did it. Nobody got broke. And now we're at a great campsite. And my toes, they're about to be warm. All right, it's starting to rain pretty good outside, so just hunkering down, taking some shelter in the four-wheel camper. And a lot of my stuff is wet. And something that's actually very useful is you have these little bungees that are used to pull the fabric in when you close the roof. Well, guess what else they're good for? A clothesline. So I've got all my stuff over there drying on the clothesline, and I've got the little buddy heater going. And so hopefully those will dry out just a little bit, but it's nice to have warm pants or warm socks at the moment. Knock, knock. Come on in. I bring salsa and a paper plate.
Perfect.
I hear there's tacos in here.
You heard correct. Come into my taco bar. Don't worry about the floor, it's already dirty.
Oh yeah, look at this. That's a meal after a good day like this.
Yeah. I think that's a good reaction.
It's so good. I'm so hungry.
Completely forgot about getting stuck in the snow.
No, I haven't forgot about that, but I'm going to destroy some tacos. Dude, thanks for making dinner, man.
All right, cool.
Full bellies, warm clothes. That's a good end of the day. You know, we got a good story to tell now. I'm going to hook up Starlink, and I'm going to give Regina a call. And then I'm going to enjoy this view for a little bit, and I'm going to get a really good night's rest. I'm pretty tired from shoveling snow. Be interesting to see what tomorrow has in store for us. I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, this might not exactly be where we planned to end up yesterday, but it's not a bad spot. It's beautiful here. Little stream running right here from the snow melt. Gorgeous Alaska Range Mountains off in the distance. Now, the challenge is there's a trail that's about 50 miles down the road and up that way that's at the same elevation that this trail is at. We're still going to give it a go, but maybe we'll give it a little bit less of a go because I don't think either one of us want to shovel quite so much snow today. But one of the things that's pretty consistent with these bucket trips is our plans change, and that's okay. That's part of the adventure. Sometimes you just have to give it your best effort, and if you can't make it and you got to come up with a plan B, well, then you got to do that. And sometimes those end up being the best parts of the adventure. So we'll see where the day takes us. Well, I like seeing the adventure cowboy hat on. I guess I need to get mine on. It's just a little cold still, man.
Yeah, well, the sun's warming up. I figure sun's out, hat's out, something like that.
Yeah. How you feeling about getting to this lake today?
I'm excited about it. I hope we can make it. It should be, you know, a similar elevation to here, but I'm hoping less snow so that we don't have to get stuck anymore because my back hurts.
Yeah, mine's a little sore too. It's all good.
As we leave camp and make our way off the trail, I can't help but wonder, will I ever be back here? Will I get a chance to make it all the way to that abandoned mine? With so many places still on my bucket list, it's a little hard to imagine, but I'd like to think that day will come. Who knows? Maybe 10 years from now, Sean and I will be here together on Bucket Trip 23, finishing what we started. All right, time to make our way to the Denali Highway and see if we can get to the Roosevelt Lake.
Visibility is much better today. We can see for a long ways out, and the Denali Highway is living up to its reputation. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. However, I will mention that the road is full of potholes. It is not a smooth going road, which it's all right. We're just trying to dodge as many as we can, but it's fun. Now we've got about, I don't know, 30 or 40 miles to go. See how the next trail is. We just turned off on to our next trail for the adventure, and right before we saw a mama and a baby moose scurry off into the mountains there. Hopefully we'll see some more wildlife as we get going up there. There's no snow on the ground, but there's definitely snow up in the mountains, and where we're gonna go is called Roosevelt Lake, and that is at 3,200 feet. It was also at 3,200 feet yesterday where we got stuck. So let's just hope that this trail is a lot clearer and we make it to the lake. I've seen this lake on many videos and pictures, and I didn't actually know what this lake was until I was doing my research. I found this trail on Onyx Off-Road, and I was like, oh, that's the lake. We got to go there. So that's where we're going, I hope.
This is Roosevelt Lake Trail, a 16-mile route that's rated as moderate. Honestly, though, I'd call it more on the easy side unless there's snow. The question on both our minds today, will we have to turn around again? We hope not. But based on what a few locals have told us and what we experienced yesterday, there's more snow on the trails than usual for this time of year.
We just pulled over for a minute because we saw this really incredible spot. You got this pretty heavy rushing stream coming through, a little waterfall. There's a cabin off in the distance, mountains there, and there's a perfect spot to camp right there.
Did you bring your gold pan?
I did bring my gold
What do you
pan.
think, dude?
I think, you know, if we happen to end up here at a later point, if we can't make it further up the road and we have to end up camping here, it wouldn't be terrible.
Would not be terrible.
And we'd probably end up rich with my gold panning skills. I did find a couple of flakes when we were in Dawson. So
That's true. You're an expert.
All right, we've been climbing an elevation and thankfully no deep snow on the trail. You can see the lake off in the distance. It looks pretty frozen. So we're kind of hoping we might do a little fishing, but that's probably not going to happen. But wow, spectacular view out here.
Have you ever been out on the trail and been so captivated by the surrounding scenery that you weren't exactly paying attention to your location? Well, we're currently a little guilty of that. We saw this beautiful camp spot right on this frozen lake in front of this beautiful mountain and thought we had made it to Roosevelt Lake. But after a closer look, nope. It's still several miles down the trail and higher in elevation.
All right, it's been a very interesting last hour. First off, that was not Roosevelt Lake, the frozen lake we were at. It's actually at the end of the trail. Now, as we started going towards the end of the trail, we climbed an elevation. We passed a tractor and a couple trucks that had stopped on the side of the road. We pushed a little further and no joy. We were not getting through. Sean started getting a little tipsy. So the plan is we're gonna head back off the trail, back on the Denali Highway, and keep going west, and we'll see where it takes us.
All right, we've reached the end of the trail, airing up, and then we're gonna finish the Denali Highway, go to the small town of Cantwell, get fuel, and then head south and start making our way towards Anchorage. Now, there's a trail along the way that I have marked on Onyx, and I think there's a river campsite there, and hopefully it's accessible. It looks like the elevation is much lower. But I gotta be honest, I am a little disappointed. I was really looking forward to getting to see Roosevelt Lake, and maybe that'll be just an excuse to come back to Alaska another time.
The only place we could find to eat in Cantwell is this little red food barbecue stand. And I would say it's way better
than satisfactory.
All right, change of plans again. It is 5:30 in the afternoon and we haven't made it to the trail that we're going to. We still may go there, but we're like, we probably should just start finding camp now, because that trail that we're gonna do is a pretty long trail and we're not sure that we want to tackle that today. So we're on this small little 2-track and it's a little overgrown and yeah, we don't really know where we're going, but that's okay.
I think we better kinetic rope me out of here before I dig myself into a mud hole.
Great.
Well, it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and after quite a bit of trial and error, we found a pretty good camp spot. Now, we are not hitting the trail we were planning to hit today. We're gonna save that for tomorrow. But this works, man.
Yeah, this is a good spot.
This is actually a pretty good spot.
I was a little concerned as we went through kind of the residential area there. It
Yeah.
looked a little shady, but then we got out here and like away from kind of, the trail goes kind of pretty far out into nowhere.
This trail just kind of crisscrossed this little river, and we're pretty far from any civilization, so we'll take that. That's a win. I am very thankful to be on this river with this campfire next to my friend, eating some veggies, having an adult beverage. Even though we didn't get to where we wanted to go, this all worked out. A little bit of an adventure trying to get here.
It always works out.
It always works out.
It's the journey, not the destination. And sometimes the destination ain't bad either.
That's right. A lot more adventure to come, guys. But tonight, we're just going to soak this in.
Cheers.
It's hard to believe I'm on day 17 since I left home. Time really flies when you're having fun on these adventures. It has been so incredible and so amazing. We've traveled over 4,500 miles so far, and we still have several thousand miles to go. This has been a good camp spot, beautiful spot here on the beach. I can tell that this is highly used probably on the weekend, and I can't blame people for coming out here. There are no fish in this river. We looked and we tried, but there's nothing here. Now, we're gonna get these very dirty and tired trucks back on the trail again, and we are gonna head deep into the backcountry on an old mining trail where there's a lot of history, and if we get lucky, we might be able to see Mount Denali off in the distance. Some of my weather stripper here isn't holding up quite as well as it used to. Have to fix that later.
This trail we're going to is called Petersville Road, and it's one I found on Onyx Off-Road. It's already been curated. There's already somebody that's gone through here and figured out the time and distance, which was extremely helpful. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this trail we're going to takes us today. This is gonna be a good one, guys. right, we're on the Petersville Trail and we've been on for a little bit. The first part was paved road and now we've hit some gravel. The trees are starting to clear out and there are some beautiful views of the mountains off in the distance. This trail was built to support the miners and homesteaders back in the 1920s. So there's a lot of history here. And a really cool fact is they were actually giving away land. So you could come out here and just claim it. That's pretty awesome. Can you imagine that happening today? A lot of hunters out here as well. So maybe we'll see some wildlife.
The Petersville Trail is an out and back route stretching about 43 miles. It's rated as moderate, but in dry conditions, I'll bet it's a pretty easy ride. Near the end, there's a short detour about 4 miles that leads to the edge of Denali National Park where you can get a glimpse of North America's tallest mountain. But first, we've got to tackle these potholes.
All right, we're a little over 28 miles in, and boy, this last section has been pretty rough. There's a lot of potholes, kind of slow going a little bit, but just slowing down, taking our time and kind of soaking it in. And I was just thinking, looking at these mountains off in the distance, like how harsh and rugged this area is, and to be out here in the 1920s, trying to homestead and mine, boy, those people must have just been rugged. And how exciting though, free land and the opportunity to strike it rich. I'm sure there was a lot of excitement going on out here. I'm excited today to be exploring it, that's for sure.
All right guys, we've been climbing up this gorgeous shelf road and we've just reached a good little patch of snow. It's at least 1.5 feet deep, if not a little bit more. There are some tracks through it, but it's a long fall on the other side, so it just makes me a little nervous. I'm gonna take my time. We'll get through here.
Many of you know that shelf roads are not my favorite thing in the world, but this one's okay. But that snow was a little sketchy. Let's hope we don't have any more of that. However, we are climbing an elevation, so who knows where the adventure is going to lead us.
I was having a blast, but I'll be honest, there were a few moments where the Jeep felt a little too close to the edge. With snow under the tires, you've got to stay sharp. The hardest part though, keeping my eyes on the trail. Between the mountain views and the river below carving through the snow, it was hard not to just stop and take it all in, but up ahead we could already see it. Deeper snow on the trail was waiting for us and we needed to fight through.
The snow is pretty solid. I don't feel like I'm sliding all over the place, and there's just enough traction on the side of the trail that it seems okay. We're almost to the bottom of the mountain, and we're actually not too far from the campsites we have marked. Now, are we gonna camp here? It's not even 1 o'clock. I don't know what's in store, but we're gonna keep going as far as we can go. This is actually fun. It hasn't been the sketchy zone yet, it's just been the fun zone. All right, we started descending down this hill,
Sean started hearing some clunking type noises coming from underneath his truck. We're just walking back and forth, and I could hear sounds in the front and the rear axle, which is very bizarre. So got the tarp. We're gonna get out, get under there and take a look. All right, I just spent a good 10 minutes under Sean's truck, and I think I found the problem. Take a look at this.
You guys see that right there? That is one big rock, and I can't pull it through the caliper side, so we're gonna see if we can feed it through the front of the wheel. I don't know how he did that. There. You got it. Yeah, look at that.
It must have gone in through the hole in the outside, eh?
Look at that big rock Sean had in there. I'm glad we were able to get Sean's truck sorted. I was under there looking at U-joints and control arms and shocks. It's just a big rock. So that catastrophe is averted. However, as we were sitting here looking off into the distance, it looks like the road is snowed. We're gonna go as far as we can. Once again, Mother Nature's gonna stop us, I think.
This snow was deep, but more hard-packed than the wet stuff we had hit the other day. The catch this time, a thick layer of ice underneath. So once again, I had Doc rolling back and forth, just trying to fight through. Back in the Navy, we had a saying for new sailors heading out to sea for the first time that they were getting their sea legs. On this trip, I think I'm getting my snow legs. We don't get much of this in the Southwest, and honestly, I'm loving it.
Yeah, Brad. Yeah. Look at this guy. Never been snow wheeling, and he's out here crushing it, breaking trail for us. Love it. Nicely done.
I mean, I made a nice good path for you, so we won't have Kennecott rope you out today.
Hopefully. I'm a little wider, I think.
That's just true. Well, Doc's never done anything like that. That was fun. That's a good 2 feet deep, maybe. There's ice underneath, but I had to kind of plow through it. It was a lot of fun. It's gonna be much easier for Sean.
Is this what you Canadians do in Canada for fun?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
We were starting to feel pretty confident. We thought we'd make it all the way to the end of the trail and catch a glimpse of Denali. But once again, Alaska had other plans. Up ahead, the snow got even deeper and the trail turned into a steep climb we just couldn't tackle. We gave it our best shot, but in the end, we had to back down, and this was not a comfortable feeling.
All right, backing down a hill using my side mirrors and my review camera on ice. So this feels a little sketchy. Nice and easy and slow. Hugging a couple trees there. Yeah, we got out and looked further ahead, and the road there's no more breaks in it. And as far as I know, there's no more camping up there either. So we're gonna head back, and I don't know, we might camp down below. We'll see how it goes, but I gotta get down this hill without slipping off first.
All right, back down the hill to the flat area. There is a campsite right here that I actually had marked when I was planning this on Onyx. It's covered in snow, but we could just like drive back and forth and pack it down a little bit. But Sean went back across the bridge. There was another campsite over there, and he's gonna see if that has a little less snow, but I think we've decided we're gonna camp here tonight, because why not? It's a little after 2:30, and we made it 35 miles up the trail, so almost the entire thing. But this is actually a very satisfactory spot. Now it's covered in a foot of snow, but I've been shoveling snow, and we shoveled a little walkway, a little camping area, and that's why I'm wearing a t-shirt, and it's so cold outside. I'll be bundling up here soon, but I was working up a sweat shoveling snow. Now, we've got a couple chairs, we got a couple adult beverages, and we've got a Duraflame log that might decide to light if we're motivated enough. We'll see. But there's no wood around here, so thankfully we got those logs. Now, I'm gonna kick back, relax, soak this all in, because you guys know this isn't something I get to do very often. My friend, my toes are freezing cold.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
That's okay. This faux fire is warming them up. I will say this is the first time I've ever built fire on ice, so this is a first for me.
Yeah, it doesn't work great, but
Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. I can't even imagine, man. This road was built in the 1920s.
Yep.
Can you imagine coming out here with just whatever you can carry on your horse and out here to build a homestead and prospect? Can you imagine what that was like?
Not clearly, but it sounds fantastic. I wish I could experience it.
I mean, we're only getting like a fraction of what those guys have. We've got apartments on vehicles.
I think you mean they had a fraction of what we have.
Well, yeah. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's cool to think about.
Yep.
I mean, those guys were a different breed of people.
Mm-hmm. It was a different time.
Yeah.
But it's fun to follow in their footsteps.
It is fun at their footsteps. It's easy to go camp in the summer in comfortable places, but I think getting out of your comfort zone, like this San Diego guy is doing right now, it's good. I like it.
You can probably count on one hand the amount of times you snow camped, eh?
Yeah, it hasn't. I've never camped like this in the snow, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's great. Cheers.
It felt good to get to camp early for once and just slow things down. But after a good little rest, Sean caught the itch to see if there was any gold in a nearby stream. Ever since our trip to Dawson City last year, he's had a bit of gold fever. I think he's still dialing in his technique, but the hunt, that's what keeps him grinning.
We've been having a great afternoon. I mean, considering that it's cold and we're in the snow, we've just been having a blast talking around the campfire. And I'm in charge of dinner tonight, so we're gonna do a little ravioli. I've got some marinara sauce, I've got some Parmesan cheese. And the good thing is I'm cooking on an electric stove, so it should heat up no problem. Have a good meal, and then we're just gonna keep hanging out and just, yeah, we're in Alaska, guys. Life's good.
I'm in Alaska!
Woo! Yeah, what he said. Okay,
Right?
that's not bad.
Pretty good. I love how we make the most bachelor meals possible and they end up being amazing.
That's better than I expected.
Right?
Okay.
I think we were both surprised with how good that simple meal turned out. I might have to put that one back on the menu. This was one of those days I'll definitely remember, but my second pair of shoes, yeah, they're now soaked as well. Here's hoping they dry out overnight.
I'm a firm believer that doing things that are uncomfortable are good for your mind, they're good for your soul. They make you a little more resilient, and I think this is definitely one of those times. I'm a little out of my comfort zone in this weather. It's been great. I mean, I've camped in some snow and cold before, but not like this. And it's actually crazy because it's not like temperature cold, it's just like wet cold. I think it's like 46 degrees. I have the heater going on inside the camper, and I was trying to dry out my boots, put a little fan there, getting creative. But it was nice and warm in the camper, and I've got a good sleeping system, so that's not the issue. But you come outside, and all of a sudden that cold just gets in your bones, even with all these clothes. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I really am. I'm just trying to soak it all in because this isn't something I'm going to get to do for a long time. I got hot coffee. Little challenge with my battery because we only drove a couple hours yesterday. I didn't get a full charge, and I'm not getting any solar, so my battery's pretty low. I'm not sure how long we're going to drive today, so it may still be a challenge, and I don't think we're going to get a whole lot more sunshine over the next couple days. So today, I got a little surprise in store. I'm going to change things up and see if Sean's up for it, and then we're going to hit another trail if all goes well.
Morning.
Good morning. Thanks for making breakfast.
Hey, no problem.
I have a proposal for you if you're feeling trusting. So I did a little homework last night, and I found a really, really cool place to stop on our way to our next destination.
Okay.
That would mean we would only get to go there and maybe a place to eat. But I don't want to tell you what it is because I kind of want it to be a surprise because it's really cool.
Okay.
Are you down with that?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds fun.
All right, I love it.
All right.
I'm thankful Sean is going to be trusting and a little excited to see where we go. Now, I'll give you guys a little hint. This is something very Alaskan, and it's something he and I both love. But before we can get there, we've got to get back up this pass, which is covered in snow, and now with all this rain, maybe covered with some ice. So this should be interesting.
As we're making our way back out, I'm reminded about how different it always feels doing a trail in reverse. The same road, just a new perspective. And this shelf road still demands focus. The snow is melting, but those puddles are growing, and that river is not too far off our right tire. As rough as parts of this trail were, it's hard not to feel lucky to be out here. The kind of scenery you just don't get to drive past, you feel it.
All right, we're up and over the pass, and just one little section I started to go into a little ditch on the left. Had to kind of go forward and backwards a few times, throw the lockers on, I got out of it. It just took me a minute. But now we should have clear sailing all the way to the end of the road. Just a little rain, little puddles, maybe a little mud. Yeah. Beautiful.
All right, my friend, I said I had a surprise for us on our trip. What do you think? This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All the cool fire trucks and airplanes and trains.
There's some big planes over there.
This is right up our alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking through this museum makes us feel like we're stepping into a time machine that only runs on grit and determination. Inside, there are snowmobiles that once roared through blizzards and machines that were more survival tools than transportation. Everything here was built with a purpose, and that purpose was usually staying alive through winter.
So we're inside, which is kind of nice because it's a little rainy and windy, and they've got all kinds of restored vehicles in here. And they said they all run. I'm actually looking forward to getting outside and seeing some of that old rustic stuff that's out there.
Out back is where the real soul of this museum lives. Rusted out rigs, this old mail Jeep that looks pretty good, old planes and tractors, all frozen in time like they just finished their last job and never left. This isn't a graveyard, it's a monument to machines that kept this state running. There's something special about this old metal. You look at an old Jeep fire truck with flaking paint and you start to imagine the stories.
Obviously, I love old military stuff, but check this out, guys. This truck had a high water fording exhaust. It's kind of where I got my idea from. Guys, I'm eating this up. This is awesome. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
Old cars, tractors, trains, chainsaws. What do you think, man?
A little bit of history, man. You gotta see some history when you go somewhere.
Yeah, Alaska history, transportation history. Super cool.
We like transportation.
We love transportation. All right, we've come out of the weather because we can come explore inside this old Alaskan train, and this is an old wooden caboose from 1917. It was the last wooden caboose used on the Alaska Railway, and it's got some bunks in here, and this has got kind of my old Navy shipboard vibes going on.
This looks pretty comfortable.
I mean, it's not bad.
I might take a nap in here.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, these trains moved timber, ore, and people long before highways carved their way across Alaska. Back then, the rail lines were lifelines, cutting through the wilderness where there were no roads, no signs, and no easy way in or out. Everything depended on them. Looking at them now, weathered, rusted, faded, you realize they're more than relics. They're reminders of just how tough this land was, and still is. These trains didn't just haul cargo, they hauled dreams, survival, and the grit it took to build a life in the middle of nowhere.
Well, the museum was very cool, and I'm glad Sean enjoyed it. I gotta tell you though, it is cold outside. We just left the mountains in the snow and we came south thinking it was gonna warm up. Whew, no, it's not. It's not at all. We're gonna head into Anchorage, find something to eat, and then we gotta hit another trail, find a place to camp tonight before our big venture tomorrow.
If you ever find yourself north of Anchorage, this museum is absolutely worth a stop. For us, it was the perfect place to slow down, stretch our legs, and appreciate a bit of Alaskan history. From here, it's a short drive to Anchorage. We're just stopping in for a quick bite to eat. No big city plans this trip. There's a lot to see and do if you're visiting Anchorage, but for us, this trip is all about getting off the grid, and we're about to head back into the backcountry and do exactly that.
All right, ever since leaving the museum, we've been on the road for a good 2.5, 3 hours. We went all the way down to Anchorage and had a really good meal. Came up to the town of Palmer, got some fuel, and now we are at the trailhead for the Knik Glacier Trail. Now it is extremely windy out here, and we were planning on camping down on the beach, and I think that's still the plan. We just might get destroyed. We'll see how it goes, but tomorrow, if all goes well, we're gonna pass through some pretty monstrous water crossings and make it to the glacier. We've just got to survive the night. My friend, how you feeling about this weather?
I don't like it. I mean, it rained all night last night.
Yeah.
Like pretty heavily, and now it's very, very windy.
Yeah, wind is my nemesis, but you're leading the charge, so hopefully we can find a place in the shelter.
We'll see what we can do,
well,
but maybe we'll get lucky and it'll just kind of die out after a little while.
Fingers crossed. Looking forward to tomorrow.
I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. This is my #1 most anticipated destination on this trip.
Heck yeah, dude.
It's pretty windy out here.
Just checked the weather forecast, and the winds are supposed to drop dramatically in about an hour. So we're gonna drive around a little bit and just enjoy the scenery. The river is right here, beautiful mountains off in the distance, and we're gonna see if we can find a really good camp spot and then just hunker down until that wind dies down. Hopefully the forecast is correct. All right, guys, we found camp, and it's a nice rocky beach. The river's cut all around. I'm sure you can hear that wind. It is brutal right now. We've got the trucks pointed towards the wind, so camper's giving us a little bit of protection, and we're just gonna wait this out. Forecast says it should die down, so we'll see.
Yeah, if it doesn't die down, this isn't going to be camp because we're not going to be able to sleep.
No, 100%.
It's beautiful though. You can feel it shaking your truck.
Oh yeah, it's rock and roll.
All right, guys, you win some and you lose some. So we waited it out. It's almost 8 o'clock, and We drove around looking for multiple campsites. We drove around just to drive around because we were kind of having fun. But the wind has not stopped, and so the forecast was not entirely correct. So we have hunkered down behind these trees for the night, and tomorrow the views should get much better. So
Yeah, hopefully the wind gets much better.
hopefully the wind gets like none. We have no wind tomorrow. That's what we're hoping for. So, but this will work for the night.
We are thankful to be tucked behind these trees and out of the wind, but we know we are just on the edge of something much bigger. Behind us, the trail stretches out towards rivers, mountains, and the edge of a glacier we've been looking forward to reaching since the start of this trip. It's remote, it's flooded, and it's exactly why we came to this kind of place. Tomorrow, we hit the trail to just find out how far we can make it. This morning, we are still hunkered down behind some trees with roaring winds all around us. But that hasn't dampened our spirits because today is a day we've really been looking forward to.
Tucking in behind these trees last night was 100% the right call. The wind has been howling all night and all morning long. A little bit of rain here and there, but that's okay. We're ready for adventure today. Now we're gonna head out to the Knik Glacier, which is a massive glacier Sean and I are both excited to get to. But to get there, we're gonna have to battle through some deep sand and some really deep water crossings. But I think the payoff in the end is gonna be worth it. So, a little more caffeine. I'm gonna roll out of here.
Sean, it's Glacier Day, my friend. How you feeling?
I'm feeling really good.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
How about these water crossings?
They're looking deep.
They're looking deep. You ever had this truck in really deep water?
Mm-mm.
Oh, so that'll be interesting.
I got a snorkel.
Yeah, me too.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
We are off, and here's hoping the wind dies down before we reach tonight's campsite. This trail out to the Knik Glacier is a 20-mile out and back route, but it's not your average drive. With multiple paths branching off, we've got choices ahead. Each route offers its own set of challenges. We're excited, but also a little anxious. Deep water crossings and soft sand can get tricky fast, and out here, you've got to know when to push forward and when to play it safe. From above, it feels like driving into another world. Massive peaks rising off every side, rivers carving through the wide open valleys, and views stretching out for miles, like a scene from Lord of the Rings. It's stunning, a little surreal, and exactly the kind of adventure I built Doc for. The snorkel, the lift, the oversized tires, they weren't just upgrades, they were built for days like this, where the trail gets tough, and caution matters just as much as confidence. We came out here to push our limits, but also respect them. Today, we're going to see just how far we can go safely.
All right, there's a lot of whoops on this trail, and I imagine that's from all the side-by-side and ATV use out here. Plus, there are just so many splits in the trail here. You really got to pay attention. So I'm paying very close attention on Onyx Off-Road to make sure we're on the right course, because it might be easy to get stuck in the woods or out in the deep water if we're not careful. But so far so good, and this trail is fun. It's got some nice twists, lots of whoops, the water crossings, the views, and at the end, a glacier that's like 15 miles long. You think about that. Like the ice that's at the end of the glacier that we're gonna see is hundreds of years old. I'm excited to go see the glacier, but I'm also not in a hurry because this is a lot of fun. All right, we just came to our first really deep water crossing, and I mentioned the tracks just kind of intertwine. I don't think that's the right one, so we're going to go up the river just a hair and see where another spot is. It looked a little more doable. There's like a little sandbar, so we're gonna give that a try. This is gonna be, I think, the nature of the beast today. The good thing is we both have snorkels, we're both pretty tall, so we'll make it.
All right, so we were at that first option. That was very wide and looked very deep. This still looks pretty deep, but it's a little narrower, and there's a sandbar that we can see on that side. So we're gonna give it a try. I'll go first, and yeah, it's an adventure.
Here we go. Lockers on. Okay, not terrible. Not terrible. A little dip under the water. Bottom's pretty good. All right. Whew. That wasn't so bad. Well, my friend, I think we knew this trail was going to be a whole lot of fun. How you feeling about it?
Loving it. So much fun.
Yeah, I am having a blast. Now, what is it about this trail? Because you've been so excited to go see this glacier. What specifically is it about the glacier that you're so interested in?
Glaciers are cool. They're big pieces of ancient ice, and they're beautiful. And there's glacial silt blue water, and I don't know, man. Glaciers are rad.
Yeah, right on. Well, I've only seen a couple in my life. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. They said it's like 15 miles long.
I've done the research. I've watched the videos, studied the maps, seen the photos, but none breathtaking. Massive peaks, the snaking river through the valley, and more water crossings than I can count. And now, way off in the distance, we're finally starting to see it, the glacier. After all obstacles to come, but it's within our reach.
Okay, we just came up to the riverbank. It is super windy out here, but we can finally see the glacier way off in the distance. It's like this really cool turquoise blue. But we're not crossing this river, dude. We got to get in the trees and figure out another route.
Yep.
Yeah, it's windy, it's cold. We're back in the trucks.
In an effort to avoid fully submerging our trucks, we bailed off the main trail and took a route slightly to the north. That meant trading deep water crossings for tight, narrow trail winding through the trees. But what we didn't know at the time was the water wasn't done with us yet.
All right, the trail follows into the forest a little bit away from the river. It's just really tight in here, so we're going nice and slow. And Sean's having a harder time than I am just because he's so much bigger, but it's still tight in here for me. So we're just taking our time through this section.
I'm stuck on this tree. I gotta
Cut the tree and pull it back.
Well, I'm wondering if I straighten my wheels and go forward, if this driver's side will drop down enough that it will clear.
Okay.
But I don't want to keep dragging it across here.
Nope.
I messed this up already.
Yep.
Lucky it wasn't the latch. I'm not touching it.
You're okay. You're coming away from it. You're good, actually. You're good. You got like 6 inches, which I know in Canadian doesn't mean anything to you. You're clear.
Ah, that sucked.
Well, not too much damage. Could have been worse.
Yeah, just got to replace a crossbar. No big deal.
Well, that's the important thing about taking our time in here, yeah?
Yeah, I'm really taking my time. All I keep hearing is crunch, 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 crunch. Branches breaking, branches falling. It's carnage.
You're still smiling.
You're clear of the tree. Keep coming. You're good right there. No, keep turning. Keep turning. Now straighten it out.
You know, we thought the water crossings were going to be our challenge and limiting factor, but come to find out, it's this forest. Sean's up here, stuck again. He's breaking out the chainsaw so he can get clear of this tree. You want me to hold anything?
The trees were definitely slowing us down, but we kept our spirits up and took it one tight turn at a time. Then, out of nowhere, the trail threw us a curveball. Several long, deep sections of flooded trail. Unlike the solid riverbed we'd crossed earlier, this ground was softer, and we had no idea what was underneath. We took it slow, one truck at a time, hoping the bottom would hold. Luckily, it did, and just as I was pulling out of the last water crossing, there they were, 2 mountain goats, calmly grazing on some brush right in front of me. It's like they'd been standing there the whole time, watching this all unfold. With the trees and flooding behind us, the trail opened up, and the glacier, we're so close now we can almost taste it.
Getting closer and closer to the glacier, and just now a fuel plane with 2 helicopters fueling up to it simultaneously just flew overhead. That's pretty cool. I've never seen that before. That was very unique. What a great trail this has been. You know, this is one of those trails that it's about the destination because it's going to be really amazing to get there, but it's also been about the journey. This trail has been a blast, and this isn't a trail that you can get to as a tourist. You can do one of those helicopter tours or whatever and go check it out, but you're not going to experience it like we're experiencing it. We're close, guys. I can't wait to drive up to the edge of this glacier. This is going to be amazing.
Well, after a very long journey to get to Alaska, we've made it. We've made it to a glacier, the Knik Glacier, guys. This is incredible. those massive ice structures out there that are centuries old. It's just beautiful. And standing out here in these mountains and everything, I mean, I feel a little small, but I also feel like, man, this place is magical. That is so cool. Woohoo!
We're in Alaska.
We're in Alaska, standing on an iceberg. Whoa. Every couple minutes, we'll hear a crack in the ice or a splash in the water. It's so unique. And to be camping right here is just, it's very special. All right, I'm gonna go enjoy this for a while. Cook some chili dogs for dinner. Yeah.
We've had some amazing days on this trip and camped in some unforgettable spots. But tonight feels different. Sitting here by the fire with the glacier glowing behind us and the stillness of this place wrapped around everything, this might be the moment that tops all of them. What an unreal place to close out the day.
So quiet and peaceful out here. Yeah, places like this just kind of reset you a little bit, you know? You think about all the things that are happening back home that you're not even going to remember a year from now. You know, whatever's going on in the news, what did you just buy, you know, recently, or what's that email you just sent? A year from now, you're not going to remember any of that. But a year from now, I'm going to remember this. I love this, guys. This is exactly why I do what I do. Now, this morning, we do have to leave here, but we're going to try to explore a little bit more. And then we've got to get back off this trail, which was quite the adventure getting here. And we've got another place we're going to go visit, and still more of Alaska to see. It's crazy that it's been 20 days and the adventure is starting to wrap up, but I'm still excited to see what's to come.
We are Oscar Mike, and on our way to see if we can get really close to the main glacier. Not sure how close we can get, but we're going to try our best. It looks like there's a few trails out there. All right, let's see where the day takes us.
Yesterday, we had no idea there was a way to even get closer to the glacier. But last night, Sean spotted a few side-by-sides cresting a hill and heading that way. Now we're seeing a web of tire tracks and faint trails, so we're going to do what we do best, explore. It might take a little trial and error to figure out our route, and there's a large river crossing ahead that we'll assess when we get there, but this is what we live for, the unknown, the challenge, the chance to see what's possible. Let's go find out if we can get there.
All right, I mentioned we were trying to get to the main glacier out there, and we've been following some two tracks that are out here in the sand, but we've come to a pretty deep water crossing. At least it looks pretty deep. And we found it looks like an entrance on the other side, but there's not a lot of tracks here, and that's pretty fast moving and looks pretty deep. So we're just gonna give this a hard look before we make a decision and get ourselves in trouble.
Thankfully, that wasn't as deep or as fast running as we anticipated, and now with the river behind us, the trail climbs. Steep, loose, and just enough to keep us guessing. But every foot of elevation brings us closer. The glacier's just over the next rise, and you can feel it in the air. Colder, quieter, bigger.
What a great way to start the morning. Crossing that river, climbing up this mountain, and diving into this little valley right here where the glacier meets this lake, and there's icebergs all over the place, and then the glacier face is right there. This is pretty epic right here.
Well, my friend, was it worth the effort to get here?
It was definitely worth the effort to get here. Look at this place. We're next to a 15-mile long glacier, and we just drove over like a super sketchy glacial field. It's not bad at all.
All right, it's gonna be tough to leave this spot, but we gotta start heading back and on to our next destination. So now we got about, I imagine we probably have 23, 24 miles till we get off of this trail, and then a good little drive till we get to our next point of interest today. Yeah, I'm full of joy. Sad to see the Knik Glacier in my review mirror. This was the one trail and one point of interest Sean and I were probably looking forward to the most. This whole trip has been great. This was definitely a highlight for sure. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, when's the next time I'll possibly be back here? When's the next time I'll possibly be back to Alaska? It could be a long time. I've got so many places that I want to go and explore, and this is just such a commitment to come back here. I want to try to do it soon, but I know that there's other places that Sean and I both want to go together. Yeah, looking forward to those, but I'm looking forward to the day I can come back to Alaska. We're on the last mile of the trail here. We'll get to the end, air up, and then we're gonna head into town and get a bite to eat. I think we're both hankering for a good meal. Then we'll fuel up and head east in search of another trail that I've got marked. I marked it on Onyx and planned it out, and I think we've got a good camp spot by the river if all goes well tonight, but we'll see. It might be a long day, possible. We just left the town of Palmer, stopped for a really good meal at a little ale house, and got some gas, a couple snacks. Now we are heading east. I was just checking the map, and where we are going is about an hour and a half away. It's at 3,300 feet of elevation. Right now we are at just over 800. If you recall, a few days ago when we were at that high of elevation, we couldn't go any further because of snow. Hopefully, that's not the case though.
All right, we've reached the trailhead for the Monument Mountain Trail, and this trail is listed on Onyx Off-Road, but we are only gonna follow this trail for a short period of time, and then we're gonna turn off and aim for a couple river campsites that I have marked. Now, it's about 4:30, maybe close to 5 o'clock this afternoon, so we might get to camp a little late, but that's all right. We got plenty of daylight, and the good news is, while it's a little windy, we've got some blue skies, a little sunshine. It's gonna be a good day. I hope we get to the river, catch some fish.
This is the Monument Mountain Trail, an 11-mile route with a few offshoots that looked like they might be worth exploring, with the hope of eventually reaching the Little Nelchina River and drop a line in. Honestly, though, I didn't choose this trail because of anything in particular. It just happened to line up with our route and gave us some good camping options for the night. But like so many trails in Alaska, what looks ordinary on the map turns out to be anything but. We ended up getting the truck soaked again, digging out the kinetic rope one more time, and soaking in some absolutely incredible mountain scenery. I know I keep going on about the views, but the truth is, almost every trail we've been on has offered its own variation of snow-capped peaks, wide valleys, and landscapes that just don't get old. It's hard not to be blown away over and over again. If there's one thing I've learned out here, it's in Alaska, the map never tells the whole story. You don't really know what you're in for until you're already in it.
Wow, I would not go this way.
Been on the trail for about a half hour, and the first part was a bunch of big, nasty mud puddles, and then we've kind of been going up and down, and now we've just climbed really steep on this really rocky ledge. But off in the distance out here, guys, it's a beautiful, beautiful view of the mountains, and there's a glacier that runs right in the center. It's absolutely stunning. What an incredible view. That looks like something out of a painting. That's amazing.
Once again on this trip, we've found the snow line. At first glance, it looks like there's just a few scattered patches here and there, but looks can be deceiving. It's wet, slick, and there's a good layer of mud hiding underneath. We managed to plow our way through right up until we didn't.
All right, well, Sean found the deepest snow on the trail so far, and he's got himself a little stuck. So we've got the kinetic rope out. I'm gonna yank him out, and then we'll give it another go.
All right, you ready?
Ready to go.
Here we go.
Our first pull with the kinetic line didn't go as planned. The soft shackle let go. After as many recoveries as it's been through on this trip, I can't say I'm surprised, but it's a solid reminder when you're doing recoveries, make sure everyone's clear and in a safe position. Gear can fail. It's part of the reality out here. Fortunately, Sean and I both carry backups. We swapped in the new shackle, gave it a few more solid tugs, and just like that, we were free. And no digging required this time.
Well, we got you unstuck again, my friend. What happened?
Well, I was going and then I wasn't.
It's all good. Let's hope that's the last time, maybe?
Yeah, the snow was hiding another one of those big water crossing puddles.
Sure.
And I sunk right into it. I was going real fast because I went through that other snow. Remember, you saw me just like plow through it. I was like, oh, this snow's great. You can just plow right through it. And then as soon as I hit the water, I sunk.
Sometimes send it doesn't do it.
All right, we got him unstuck. That was a deep little snow hole. And it's cold outside. There's a reason there's still snow on the ground, because it's still chilly up here. Now, we're not even halfway. We got a long way to go. There's a lot of mud, snow, rocks. It's a little slower going than expected, so it's gonna be probably a late night arrival at camp, but that's okay. If it all works out, it should be pretty amazing. Interesting, adventurous afternoon. It's 7:05, so it's definitely late in the evening. Now, the route I had planned was going to take us kind of on this loop, and we're going to get to a river, and we're going to do that half today, and then coming out, we were going to leave the river and do the other half. Well, when we turned left off of the main trail, we lost the trail. Like snow, mud, overgrowth, I don't know. We lost the trail, we couldn't find it, so we've had to put in effect plan B, and we are staying on the main trail, and it looks like there's a really nice campsite. I pulled it up on Onyx with the satellite imagery, and I think where we're going is going to be pretty sweet. Sean might have got himself stuck on this hill, which will be interesting. So we're gonna see. He's trying to work it out, but kinetic rope might be coming out here in a second. Oh, there he goes. He got it. Nicely done, sir.
Yeah, a little bit terrifying, but no problem.
All right, we've arrived at camp, and options were slim pickings. There's a lot of mud, a lot of snow, but we found this nice little flat area on the grass right next to the stream. We can see the mountains off in the distance, and there's an old rusty Jeep Willys right there, which is kind of cool to see. So we're going to set up camp here and enjoy the evening. It's kind of been a long day, but it's been a whole lot of fun. My cowboy brother,
Marner,
what do you think about the trail today?
it's fantastic. I think today, as far as scenery goes, was the best day of the trip.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible coming up that ridge.
Yeah.
Campsite, it's okay.
Hey, you know what all I care about right now? The sun's out.
Yeah,
That's what's making me happy.
definitely no rain. We got a little sunshine. I'll take it.
Any spot with the sun on my face.
Yes, sir.
And the wind at my back.
All right, we got camp all set up, and that's the great thing about the four-wheel campers. It just pops up and sets up really quick. Throw your chair out, and you're ready to go. Sean's got dinner duty tonight. He said he's going to make some steaks and pierogies, so excited for that because I could eat after that. We're kind of working a little bit doing that recovery and running around in the snow and the mud. It was a lot of fun. Oh, there's looks like some elk droppings, so there's some wildlife out here somewhere. Now, we had planned on staying at a river tonight, way up north from here. That obviously didn't work out, so we're on this stream. And I was hoping, well, maybe we could do a little fishing, because that was a plan on the river, was to do some fishing. But this stream is pretty murky. I don't think we're going to do any fishing here, which is kind of a bummer. So we're actually going to modify our plans a little bit tomorrow. We had planned on this day being kind of a down day today and tomorrow, and then go to our next destination. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a normal start tomorrow, And we found another option campsite just a little bit further east. So we're gonna head there, and then maybe we'll get there early, and then we can relax, and maybe we could do some fishing.
At this point, I'm not even sure we can call them changed plans anymore. This might just be the plan, and honestly, it always seems to work out. I don't think Sean or I can recall a single time where a detour didn't lead to something memorable. This campsite for Alaska, I'd call it a B-. But if I were back home in the States, this would easily be an A+. And after everything today threw at us, it's the perfect spot to wind down. What a day. And we're both ready and excited to see what tomorrow brings.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Bright and early this morning. I like seeing you up this early. It's
Yeah,
good.
it's nice. Sun's out.
It's cold, though.
It's cold.
We should go find some warmer weather.
Yep.
So, guys, this morning we're gonna go drop in some elevation and do some fishing, because currently it's 6 to 3, so I got some catching up to do. But if he catches more fish, I'm really in trouble.
I'm already planning dinner.
Yeah, I hope we can catch and eat. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
But here's the challenge. We've got to get back off this trail, which was a little more rugged, a little more sloppy than we anticipated. And one of the challenges was a couple of these hill climbs are snowy and icy and muddy.
Yeah.
They were sketchy coming down.
Yeah, I almost got stuck going downhill.
Oh, downhill, almost got stuck. So we've got to go up it. So we'll see how that goes.
I mean, uphill is usually better than downhill.
Sure.
It was just a short drive out of camp, just across the creek, and then we were immediately into it. Our first climb of the day, covered in snow and steep.
All right, guys, here we go. Got to climb this first section right here. Steep, snowy. I got it in 4 low, got the lockers on, and just give it some gas and see how she goes. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah! Okay. Not enough. I got more speed this time. There we go. Ah! Still not enough. Ooh, and sliding backwards. Feel like I got further that time, so that's good news. All right, guys, so I'm at about 18 PSI, and what I'm gonna do is drop this to about 12. Hopefully that'll give me a wider footprint, and with the wider footprint, we'll try crawling one more time. If that doesn't work, I'll send it one more time, and if that doesn't work, it's gonna be Sean's turn. Oh no, I'm not crawling it, no way. I can't even get a little bit of the ways up. I think speed is the answer here.
We expected a bit of a fight on this hill, but not like this. Over and over again, I gave it everything. Momentum, throttle, lockers, traction control off, but it just wasn't happening. But when you're in the middle of nowhere, quitting is not an option. So I backed up, lined up to give it a solid run, and I gave it all I had this time.
Yeah! Woo! Made it! Heck yeah, guys! All right.
But then it was Sean's turn. Even with 40s, more horsepower, and a little more clearance, this hill wasn't handing out any favors. He tried easing into it at first, hoping the finesse might work, but the snow just gave way beneath the tires. Attempt after attempt, the same story. The weight of the truck, the slick slope, and the soft snow underneath, it was the perfect recipe for going nowhere. This hill was relentless. And after a few more tries, it was clear he was going to have to commit all in.
Got it! There it is.
That was fun.
That was fun to watch.
Yeah.
How'd it feel coming up?
Fine.
It's a whole lot of truck to throw up that hill.
Yeah, well, I feel like it also has the benefit of having the weight with the momentum. So, like, you get it to just the right speed where the weight is helping you and it pushes through.
And 40s up.
40s are a nice extra little kick.
We'd wrestle with a few more snowy climbs on the way out. Some retries, some second guessing, but by now we were in the groove. Nothing we couldn't handle.
Got another hill here, and I just gunned it all the way. I was able to make it, but Sean's he's having to back up and try again. You should be able to make it on this one. There's a little bit of a snowy patch, but then there's some dirt you can grab onto.
After winning our battle with those climbs and feeling pretty proud of ourselves, we crested the top. The views from this direction, completely different than what we saw yesterday, where they were absolutely stunning. It's wild how changing your perspective can take a place you've already been and make it feel brand new. Mountain views, I mean, we saw them in our review mirror yesterday as we were going that way, but facing them this morning, these are the best mountain views we've had this entire trip. Absolutely incredible. I can't believe how gorgeous it looks out here. And this trail is once again muddy, wet. Yeah, Doc's a hot mess right now, but that's all good. It's all part of the adventure. These may not be the tallest peaks in Alaska, but the Chugach Mountains are some of the most rugged and the most glaciated. They contain over 60 named glaciers and more than 500 unnamed smaller ones. Spanning nearly 300 miles, these mountains catch storms rolling in from the Gulf, which is why they are absolutely dumped with snow every year. And it shows. Jagged ridgelines, hanging valleys, and those ice fields. This is raw, wild terrain. It's the kind of place that doesn't just impress you, it pulls you in and makes you want to linger just a little bit longer. So for the last hour, we've been just enjoying these views. We've stopped for a moment because before we drop down and can't see these anymore, we really just wanted to soak this in one last time. You know, I envisioned what Alaska was gonna look like, and this is like a painting right here. Guys, this is so beautiful. I'm gonna miss this. It's sad to think that we're just a few days from leaving, but a few more minutes and we'll get moving. After wrapping up at Monument Mountain Trail, we put the cameras down and we began putting many miles behind us. A long day of travel, no drama, no recoveries, just windshield time and quiet reflection as we made our way east. We landed at the Klatina River, a perfect place to reset. This morning, my fishing rod came out before my first cup of coffee. No big production, and I did catch one grayling, but more important, just me, this river, and the kind of stillness that's hard to come by on a trip like this. Now, I've been watching fish jump all around, but unfortunately, I haven't spotted any salmon. But along the beach, there is evidence everywhere from last year's salmon spawning run. What I wouldn't give to be here during that event.
It's been 21 days since I left San Diego, and every moment up here in Alaska has been absolutely incredible. We are here at a beautiful lake that when we got here yesterday, it was sunny and gorgeous. And Mother Nature here in Alaska really keeps you on your toes, and she's throwing the rain and the cold at us this morning. There's actually some fresh snow way up in the mountains. The good news is there's a lot of fish in this river, and caught one yesterday, had a couple good bites this morning. I would love to stay here and fish more, but we've got to pack up and head out. And the trail getting out of here, being wet, is going to be interesting. But we're going to be tackling one of Alaska's most historic remote roads, the McCarthy Road, all the way up to an old copper mine today. It's going to be a lot of history, a lot of fun, and probably a lot of mud.
I'd say this was up there with some of the top spots we camped at, huh?
Definitely. I mean, we were just sitting here staring at the view yesterday afternoon. It was spectacular. And it's gone now, but we're leaving, so that's okay.
Yeah, you excited for today?
I am excited for today. Love old railways. We're following an old railway line to McCarthy and the Kennecott mine, which should be pretty interesting and historical.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Let's get out of this rain.
Yeah.
This trail follows along the beautiful Klatina River for a while before it starts climbing up towards a scenic ridgeline. And this trail has no shortage of mud, water, and there's plenty of tight tree sections that keep our pace down. But there's something about this kind of trail. It forces you to be present. No distractions, just the sound of the river, the rhythm of the tires, and the feeling of being deep in the Alaska backcountry. I love this.
Well, as expected, after all the rain we got last night and this morning, the trail is sloppy and there's some big mud puddles. And it's a little rugged. There's no going fast on this trail. It took us about 2.5 hours to get in here. I imagine it's going to take us that long, if not a little bit longer, to get out. But the cool thing is you're following the river for this little bottom half, and then we climb really high. And on a clear day, which it's not, you can see off the mountains, which is it's a gorgeous view. So this is my kind of trail. This is one of those trails where you're gonna be thankful that you aired down and you got your suspension dialed in pretty good, because it's rough. There are lots and lots of potholes in the center section and towards the beginning, and we are a little pressed for time. We actually have a deadline to be at the copper mine at a certain time today, so we're pushing a little harder than we normally would, but thankfully Doc's doing okay. He's soaking it up pretty good. It's actually a little bit of fun because it's kind of a tight technical trail, and yeah, this is a good way to start a morning. Just got off the trail, and boy, that last section was really muddy. And let me tell you, the mosquitoes out here are starting to get thick, guys. Now, I was just checking our time distance, and we're a little tight for time, so we gotta hustle. We just passed through the very small town of Chittenden, which has a population of about 100 people, and that town was a hub for the railroad that used to run on the McCarthy Road, which we are now on. And how cool of a start to the McCarthy Road that cut right through the canyon for just that single lane road. That's pretty slick. Now, the road is about 60 miles long, but it didn't always used to be a road. This used to be the railroad that would carry copper ore from the Kennecott mine. And that mine produced billions of dollars in today's money out of copper. And when they built this railroad, everybody in Alaska was convinced it was gonna fail, it wasn't gonna work. And sure enough, it ran for many years and eventually closed in 1938. And then in 1960, they removed all the railroad and turned it into a road. And now we're cruising right along on our way to the mine. All right, as hard as we've been trying, I think we're gonna sort of miss what I had planned. So I had planned to meet up with a tour guide that's gonna give us a tour of the Kennecott mine. I actually paid for it in advance like 2 months ago, but we're just running too far behind. But we're still gonna get to the Kennecott mine, and I called the visitor center and they said, oh yeah, you guys can come walk around and check out the place and spend a bunch of time here. So we're gonna do that. Plus, we just passed what could potentially be one of the most unique campsites on this entire trip. And if all goes well, we're gonna end up back there tonight. All right, well, after a good long haul on the McCarthy Highway and a little shuttle ride up here, we made it to the Kennecott mine. And this is a really cool park area that's been restored, and there's a lot to see here. And Sean and I, we love history and old stuff.
Yeah, this old lodge is crazy.
It's super cool. So we're gonna go check it out, guys.
This is one of Alaska's most impressive remnants of its industrial past. Once a thriving copper operation in the early 1900s, this place was a self-contained city in the mountains, complete with homes, hospitals, and a schoolhouse. At its peak, Kennecott Mine was one of the richest copper mines in the world, pulling in millions of dollars worth of ore from these mountains between 1911 and 1938. Entire families lived and worked here, building a self-sufficient community in one of the harshest environments imaginable. Today, the skeletal remains of the boomtown still cling to this hillside. Red timber buildings, each one with its own story. It's hard to imagine the scale of the operation that once powered this place until you step into the powerhouse.
So we're in the old powerhouse that was built in 1911. And behind me are 4 massive oil-burning steam boilers. Now, some of you may know, when I first joined the Navy, I actually worked as a boiler technician before I crossed over to medical. So
I didn't know that.
yeah, Sean didn't know that. I love boilers. I'm fascinated by how steam works, but these old machines, it's crazy. These things are massive, and the fact that they brought these all the way up this mountain and assembled them here is pretty impressive. So up this way, guys, is the Kennecott Glacier, and you can see that it has recessed because it used to run all the way down here. And fun fact, the Kennecott Glacier is spelled with an I, but the Kennecott town is spelled with an E. Man, I love this stuff. But I really appreciate the hard work that the national park is putting into keeping this place alive. You can see that it must not be easy. The weather here in Alaska is hard on wood, and to keep all these buildings standing is tough. Unfortunately, looks like the roof on this one caved in. I want to live here in the summer.
Yeah.
I'll bet it's a harsh winter.
I could spend like a week here. I think it would be cool. Just like take it all in.
Yeah, kind of exploring and checking out all the old ruins everywhere.
Yeah. It's amazing how much of it that they've restored and kept alive.
Yeah. Pretty hard work it must have been, but man, views are pretty good.
I love it.
All right, well, we really enjoyed visiting that old mine, but now it's late in the afternoon and we got to get to camp, and we saw what we think is a pretty good spot on the way here. So fingers crossed there's nobody there, and it turns out to be as cool as we thought it is.
We have seen plenty of other travelers out here today, and we're hoping that finding a camp spot isn't too challenging. And after an hour, we arrived and we got it all to ourselves.
All right, guys, after a good hour of driving, we found where we're gonna camp tonight. Now, we saw this on the way here and we're like, that's got potential. Sean went and investigated the other side, didn't look great. I investigated this side, and check that out. We are right underneath the old railroad trestle bridge. That's pretty cool. That was built over 100 years ago. That's pretty wild. And we're gonna camp here tonight. Now, you can hear the river. You can walk down to the river. I guess it's more of a stream, but we're not right on it. And it's a little buggy here, but look, we need a place to camp tonight because tomorrow we've got a long drive north, and then we've got one more incredible adventure to do before we leave Alaska. Here, let's take a closer look, guys. Just look how rustic and beaten down this is. It's just been weathered. I mean, this thing is so old, but think about all the work that went into building this. And we're talking about, early 1900s that they built this. It's just incredible. I mean, it's almost leaning over. I mean, in a couple of years, this may just fall flat. Who knows? Maybe even next year. I mean, look at these pillars. They're standing off the ground. It's leaning way over. It's just a matter of time before this collapses. A few more good hard winters and we won't have this piece of history anymore. I'm glad I'm here to see it today. Got camp all set up, fairly level. The mosquitoes are definitely the worst they've been this entire trip. My concern is that it's gonna get progressively worse as we continue south. Although we're going north just for a little bit tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is a long day of driving, and then we're gonna start another incredible trail. So we're gonna call it a night. I'm gonna give Regina a call, and we'll see you guys in 24 hours. Well, for you, it's like seconds.
It was an uneventful night, although I swear I heard something very large rustling in the bushes near camp. The next morning, we were up bright and early and made our way 340 miles north.
When I last left you, we were on the McCarthy Road camping under that trestle bridge that was about ready to fall over. And all day today, Sean and I have been on the road working our way north, and we've ended up here in the town of Chicken, Alaska. Sean had the great idea of, let's not take the exact same way home. I heard about this top of the world road, and I was like, I've heard about that road. So we're gonna go do it, guys. We stopped here in Chicken, and we're gonna go all the way across into the Yukon to one of our favorite towns, which is
Dawson City.
Dawson City. So we only have one problem. The border closes in like an hour and a half, so we gotta hurry.
Let's talk about Chicken, Alaska just for a moment, because you won't find many places like it, and that's kind of the point. Fewer than a dozen year-round residents, no cell service, and a name that came from a spelling debate over the word ptarmigan. It's part ghost town, part roadside circus, and 100% Alaska. But we didn't have time to explore. The U.S.-Canadian border was closing, and we still had many miles to go. As we left Chicken behind, the winding road led us up to one last final landmark, Welcome to Alaska sign. This time, we're seeing it in our rearview mirrors.
Well, the drive up from Chicken has been nice, but we just reached just about 4,000 feet, and the border is about a half mile up there, but we've reached kind of the end of the road for Alaska.
Boo.
It's been such a great adventure, though, my friend.
It has been awesome.
I
It's been a good one.
remember for the last year, I've been telling people, I'm like, it's going to be tough to top our Arctic trip.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did it.
I think so.
I think we did it, man. Now, we still have a ways to go, and we're going to finish this top of the world trail, which now is going to be incredibly scenic, and then we're going to drive into Dawson and get something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. This is bucket trip 3. What do you think about bucket trip 4 and 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8.
What do you guys think?
I want to do this forever.
Let's do it.
Crossing the border was no fuss, although we both got asked more than a few questions about our crossbows. But once across, and now in the Yukon, we could slow down a bit and soak this in. There are roads, and then there are this. The top of the world highway connects Alaska to the Yukon Territory and earns its name with every sweeping curve. For nearly 80 miles, it hugs the ridgeline, offering 360-degree views that stretch as far as your eye can reach. No guardrails, no billboards, no signs of civilization, just pure, untamed terrain. It's the kind of road that makes you feel like you're floating between earth and sky. And as we made our way east, back to Canada, the emotions started to settle in. This journey has tested us, thrilled us, and changed us. Just over the horizon sat Dawson City, a town that left a mark on us last year during our Arctic trip, and now it's calling us back.
We didn't know what to expect with this road. We knew that it goes really high in elevation and it crosses a border and it's supposed to have spectacular views. It's actually really well maintained. It's extremely smooth. In fact, the highway coming up here, Highway 5, it's probably the worst road in Alaska that we drove on. It was awful. And this is a nice change. Even though it's dirt, we're cruising right along.
Looking back on the past month, it's hard to put into words what this trip has meant. We set out with a plan, routes, campsites, gear lists, but the real adventure, that came from the unexpected. The snowed-in trails, the long recoveries, the wildlife encounters, and the endless miles of jaw-dropping beauty. We drove mountain passes and muddy valleys, past glaciers, rivers, and relics of the past. We got stuck, we got tired, we got inspired. But more than anything, we built memories. Sharing this journey with Sean made it all the more special. These trips have a way of forging something deeper. We've covered thousands of miles together, but somehow every mile brings us closer as friends. And the best part, this is not the last one. We don't know exactly where the road will take us next, but what we do know is we'll be chasing adventure, pushing boundaries, and writing another chapter of our story. If you've ever dreamed about pointing your rig north and chasing the horizon, do it. Start planning, take the leap, because trips like this don't just show you new places, they show you a new version of yourself. This was our Alaska bucket trip, and it's one we will never forget.